Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is Steven. It is December 12th, which means two things. First, it's the first day of bidding. It's also Vlogmas Day 12, very exciting. So I'm on Flicka.net, which is a website that we use to go and bid and really do anything on our schedules. Look into open time or the trade board or anything. So I'm going to go into the website, give you a quick tour and maybe a pointer or two in terms of what I would do if I were on reserve looking at bidding for the first time. I'm not going to show you the whole screen because my company's logo is at the top and I don't want to be a break our rules. Also, on other pages, my coworkers' information will show up, so I don't want to show that to you as they would not appreciate it. So when I'm on Flicka, I'm going to sign in. I'm going to go on the left-hand side. You can't see it from your point of view, but under the section called Monthly Flight Attendant Bid, I'm going to click on Submit Bids. It's going to bring me to this page. What typically, now I've already been here, I've already done this. What's going to happen typically, it's going to tell you that you have to go over here on the right-hand side, see that blue thing that pops up, to additional bid options. You're going to want to select Waive 24/7. 24/7, if you are going to be working 6 days in a row, that seventh day you have to have off as a rest period. Now, if you select no, that rest period is going to be at base. So you're going to have at least 24 hours off between, if over the course of after 6 days, you're going to have 24 hours off at base. If you select that you want to waive that, you are saying that crew scheduling can work you more than 6 days in a row, but that rest period that you're required to have, that 24 hours can be during a layover instead of just at base. So I always select yes. Now I'm going to hit cancel here because I've already done this, and they'll tell me if I hit yes, confirm, they're going to say you've already done this. Waive 33.7, from what I understand, is you are making them, allowing them to have you work more than 33 hours in a week. That's what I understand it to be. So I say yes. Ready reserve, if you're super junior, you're going to sit ready reserve no matter what. But do you want to work reserve? Do you want to be ready reserve? I personally always said no because I don't want to sit ready reserve. It was a hassle for me to get to the airport. I didn't want to sit in the airport for 5 hours in my uniform. So I would much rather have been home for reserve, even though it was 10 hours at home. But I could sit by the pool for 10 hours rather than sit in the airport for 5. So I would say no personally. But if you are in the top 20% of reserves in terms of seniority, you could be considered ready exempt where you don't have to sit ready reserve anymore. But that's once you're in the top 20%. Relief line, you can figure that out later. Buddy bid, I don't buddy bid with anybody. So I'm going to say hit OK. So now that that's done, I can go into and look through the lines and see which lines I would like to work. I'd prefer to work. So what I'm going to do, because typically if you're new and you're looking at my channel, you're probably going to be reserve flight attendant. So I'm going to go all the way to the end. My airline, we have 3 notification periods for reserve. That is A, B, and C. R2, see those R2 there? R2 meant reserve period B. I believe R1 is A. R is, I believe, C. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to back up through R2. So these are all R2. So that's all reserve period B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look, say, for example, there's a particular day off. Say on January 10th, there's something coming up that I really, really want to do. I really have to have that day off. I want to bid for my reserve notification periods. I want to bid so that I have the 10th off. So I can see that lines 246, 247, 248, and 249 all have the 10th off. So I'm next going to look and see that This one has me on reserve on the 1st, then I'm off for the 2nd and 3rd. Those are movable days. My airline has 2 movable days in a row where the airline could use me if they need me. Um, if they do use me on those days, they would give me the days off somewhere else. Then there's 4 days of guaranteed days off, where if they call me, I don't have to answer the phone. And if they offer me a trip, I can say no. Thank you. Appreciate it. No. Or yes, because I want the money. So I really like the look of this line 246. So I'm going to click that. And you notice on the right hand side it says 246. The next line I want to work, or I prefer, just by chance, is 247. So I'm going to click 247. So I'm going to continue selecting the lines that I like. Say I like, well, these all have me working on the 10th. I'm not a fan of that. Over here, again, we have those 4 days have me off on the 10th. So I'm going to choose those. So on the right hand side, see these days, these lines, those all have the 10th off. They're all with days off I like, so I chose those. In order of preference, this is what I choose. And I would be awarded this one, number one, if I were the most senior person on reserve. Whoever is more senior will get their first choice. So I'm going to choose every line that I'm willing to work, and then I'm going to go back and choose the lines that I'm less willing to work but aren't that bad. And then I'm going to go in and choose lines, for example, I'll go back. In the 10th, I have to work all these days, but I'd rather have these days off over here, so I'll choose that one. And then maybe I want this one. So this is the order of my preference, and I'll be awarded the line of my preference in order of seniority. Ta-da! Then, if I choose all those, and I choose all the reserve period B, I chose reserve period B because I knew that crew scheduling wasn't going to call me before 7 a.m. or after 5 p.m. That's my airline. Then say, for example, I didn't want to fly A, reserve period A. I shouldn't say fly. I wouldn't want reserve notification period A, so I chose C. So I would go into C and I would look for the day off that I want. So the 10th, 270, and I would continue working through all the reserve lines in my order of preference. And then when I was done, I would click submit bids right there. And that would submit my bid request to crew scheduling. Now, I always make a point to bid the first day because between the first day and the last day of bidding, I could go back and change my bid as many times as I want. So if something comes up where the day that I want off is no longer the 10th but the 15th, I can come back and reselect the days I want off. There are ways you can go over here to the left-hand side and sort the order in which these lines show up on the schedule. I have mine sorted so that I would have certain lines that I don't want to work hidden. The days I want off, I want most to least. The lines with pairings, this is because I'm a line holder, that are in a 320 or 321 would show up first on the bid packet. And then the next thing I wanted in preference would be with 4 days or more off in a row, which would allow me to hopefully have time to pick up trips on my days off. So that's, as a line holder, I can go in and really change how these show up and what order they show up on my bid packet. So that gets a little bit more complicated when you're a line holder. But if you're a reserve, focus on just bidding on reserve. I would also go in, if you're pretty senior in reserve, I would also go back, let me go back here, and bid on these relief lines. Relief line award are lines, you see they're blank? They're built after everyone has bid, and there's whatever trips are left over that no one bid for, they make a reserve line, a relief line. And so, if you are on reserve, but you said, I'm senior enough, I'm going to try and get a relief line, I would go ahead and bid for those relief lines right there. If you weren't picky and you're working whatever that cruise scheduling gives you, you could just hit reserve first. Let me see. Let me clear bids. Yes. I could just, if I weren't picky, I could just hit reserve and I would work whatever reserve trip I get. And then relief right there. If I want to work any line at all, I would select any. Delete, delete, relief, reserve. I mean, that would be a lazy way of bidding because you wouldn't have any preferences there. But you would, this is saying that to cruise scheduling, you would work any line. And the next, if you didn't get a line, you would work any relief line. And then if you didn't get a relief line, you would work any reserve trip. This would be the laziest possible choice. But you could do that. So yeah, I hope this has been some help. First thing you want to do, of course, like I said when we started this, start with these additional bid options. Then go through your reserve periods. Select which ones you want to work first or you'd be willing to work first. Then the next ones, and then the ones you don't want to work at all. Just to have bid for something. And there you go. So when you're finished, hit submit bids. What's going to happen is a window will pop up with all the bid lines you bid for. I would email yourself or copy or screenshot or something that sheet so that you can have recourse if you didn't get the bid you wanted, but you were supposed to get it. You can go call cruise scheduling and whatever fight. And I think that's it. Once again, you can change your bids as often as you want during bidding. Once bidding is over, it's over. You'll get notified of what bid you were awarded. All right. So there is a little heads up on bidding for reserve. I hope that helped some. Oops. Hi. Me again. Now you can see my face. So that's a little heads up in terms of bidding for reserve. It's a timely video as I think a lot of people are actually in the process of bidding for the first time, actually, in my airline. And yeah, I think that's it. My voice is already going, and I think it's time I stop filming because I have these bright lights on in my room so I can film. But Buddy does not like those lights, and he is now hiding under my bed. So I'm going to turn these lights off and give Buddy a little cuddle. And then I will talk to you guys later, okay? So happy Vlogmas, day 12. I will talk to you tomorrow on the Vlogmas 13. I'm off for the next 2 days, so I'll try and show you something interesting. Otherwise, it might just be a Buddy the cat update. Okay? I will talk to you later. Bye. Oh.